Honestly, I don't remember exactly how old I was. Probably about 6 years old when I first told my dad, I want a PlayStation. In my feeble, unmatured mind, I had not realized at all what kind of crazy, new, and fairly expensive technology I was asking for, but I got it that year for Christmas, so thanks, Dad. Not only did I get a PlayStation, but the new PlayStation 2 had just come out, and that's what I got. I was ecstatic. Before this, all I had known were the horribly slow internet browser games that I accessed with dial-up internet in our household computer, which was stationed in the living room behind the couches, and the CD game that my mom had bought for me and my sister, which was a Sesame Street game for kids meant for learning your ABCs and simple math. When I got that PlayStation 2, it was Aladdin, and I was experiencing a whole new world. Large-scale games on a disc, memory sticks, and a controller designed specifically for playing video games. It didn't take long for me to play and beat my first game before I started wondering those beautiful little questions. What kind of games could I play? What new worlds can I experience? And what kind of characters could I become? That was it. I was hooked. Please, can we go to GameStop after Walmart today, Mom? I just want to look. What? Now Walmart has a video game section. Can I please hang out there while you shop? Oh, my poor mother. Constantly having to deal with my new enthrallment with the virtual worlds I could become immersed in. But this video isn't a sob story about my middle-class white boy childhood struggles, so let's continue on here. My first experience with multiplayer games wouldn't be until the Xbox 360. And my first introduction to really getting into messing around on computers would be on websites such as Facebook and some other cool little websites I can't even remember the name of, and oh yes, Newgrounds of course, but we'll skip over that one for now. That said, these two interests would grow together side by side, computers in one hand and games in the other, until one day, it was time. I was going to save up all the money I make and buy the parts to make my very own gaming PC. That's right, I had done it. I had entered into the world of PC gaming. Sure, that little story serves as a great introduction to this video, but we won't be storytelling this entire time. I'm here to tell you what PC gaming looks like today. Is PC gaming truly the end-all be-all master race for all of gaming? Or is it just an overcomplicated hodgepodge of unorganized markets, broken promises, broken dreams, and all with way too steep of an investment up front? Well, I'm Dr. McLovins, and this doc is here to tell you the diagnosis on just that. First off, we have acquiring a PC. At that time, if you wanted a high-end PC that could game, you were paying out the big boy bucks to get a gaming PC, or you could learn, what PCs are, how they work a bit, and build your own. It was still expensive, but it was a lot better. At that time, knowledge was limited, but fortunately for me, I had this nifty little website I found called Newegg, and it helped me out a lot. Nowadays, there are tons of great informational YouTube channels, such as some of my favorites like Jay's 2 Cents, Gamers Nexus, Bitwit, Paul's Hardware, and what's that other one? The Linus guy, with the sandals and the socks, you know who I'm talking about. And they all post build guides, tutorials, and tips all the time, providing us little gamer novices with a vast array of information every day. So shout out to you guys. With information so easily at our fingertips, it's now easier than ever to learn how to build your own PC and not worry about where that wire goes because you can find out, which makes building your own PC and having a nice upgrade path a much easier decision to make these days. That said, I'm well aware that some of you haven't so much as held a screwdriver in those button-mashing little fingers of yours, and or you just simply can't be bothered. Fear not, my fellow gamer, the gates for you have opened as well. You see, with the new companies coming out and being more competitive in the pre-built market, prices have lowered and become much more reasonable compared to just buying the parts. And while you still won't have the world as your oyster when designing your computer's aesthetics, these new companies know how to treat even the highest maintenance gamer gals such as myself. With sick designs and a focus on those sick RGB gamer lights, you're sure to be wowed. Okay, sorry. Back to what matters here, and that is of course the price. And surprisingly enough, I would say the cost with a lot of these pre-builts are pretty comparable to the price of building your own, usually with about a $100 labor price for putting it together, some shipping, and maybe a warranty. You aren't getting charged too much of a difference though. So how much does it cost, you might ask? Well, here's my answer, and this is all subjective, but to get yourself a nice PC that can handle today's games very well and be able to have a nice upgrade path, you're looking at probably around $1,200 for a very nice setup, and you're looking at about $1,800 to $2,100 for a top-of-the-line build without going too crazy. This, of course, isn't factoring in a monitor, mouse, and keyboard, but you probably have a spare one of each of those to get you started, hopefully. Okay, wait, hang on. So you're telling me to spend double what it would cost to buy a new high-end PS4 or Xbox just to play some games? No thanks. Well, this is true, but a PC is far from just a gaming machine. If you ever thought about doing anything more than watching movies, shows, and playing games, then you will eventually need a PC anyways. But this all brings me to the next point. It's more than a gaming machine. Probably the biggest upside to building a gaming PC is that 99% of the time when you build a PC that is suited to excel in playing games, you just made yourself quite the workstation PC as well. Are you into graphic design, Photoshop, video editing, 3D design, or just not waiting for 13 years for your computer to start? Do you want to create a mod for a game? All of these things will actually do fairly well on a good gaming PC. This means that your PC is an investment for yourself, whether that be for college or it be for what you like to do and learn on your own. Buying a PC means you get a whole lot more than just a machine you can play games on. Not only does having a PC mean that you have a nice workstation, but a nice PC is kind of an all-in-one station. Do you like listening to music while talking to a friend, while watching the price of Bitcoin go up and down, while watching a stream in the background, while playing a video game, while writing your essay, while sifting through Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram? Okay, so perhaps that seems like a bit too much to do all at once, at least if you're going to focus on, what's important, the playing the game part. But my point is, especially when you get a multiple monitor setup, the possibilities almost feel endless, and when used correctly, your workflow can become very efficient. When you have a PC with more than one monitor, it's like giving multitasking a completely new definition. But enough of me trying to sell you a PC. Let's talk actual gaming on a PC.
But I like my controller.
I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say they don't want to make the switch because they like using a controller and just can't get used to mouse and keyboard. They tried it once in the past and it just doesn't work for them. And while on one hand, I can almost guarantee you that if you get used to mouse and keyboard, you will like it better for most games, it's fine. I don't need to have that argument with you. You know why it's fine? Because if you like your doctor, you can if you like your controller, then use it. The new Steam Beta's controller support has grown quite vast. And while it's definitely possible to find a game that you can't get a controller to work with, that is now quickly becoming the outlier and no longer the norm. Using a controller, especially in the Steam Beta, is easier than ever. But if you're an FPS player, just do yourself a favor and drop the controller, bro. Where to buy and play games? Also, what's the price? For a long time, half the scare of getting into PC gaming was worrying if you would actually be able to find and play games. This is no longer an issue for the most part. Every now and again you do miss out on a great game like Red Dead Redemption 2 or God of War, which indeed brings a tear to my eye every time I think about it. But that can happen from console to console too. Just think about Nintendo games or God of War. That said, for the most part, buying games and playing them has become very painless on the PC. In fact, I prefer the PC/Steam platform over any other method of browsing, buying, playing, and/or reviewing your games. Not only to mention there are constantly tons of great deals going on for PC games on Steam, Humble Bundle, and G2A. Not to mention that I really don't think there is a better platform for finding a plethora of free games. Yes, free games are surprisingly common on PC, and it's becoming a trend now for new game devs to go outside of Steam and allow you to choose the price of their game. It's kind of like a donation system. You choose your own price, how much you want to give them to play their game. I mean, come on, how cool is that? However, possibly the biggest jump forward in PC gaming has been the acceptance of crossplay. Finally, long overdue, with crossplay becoming more and more welcomed and less of a taboo, it's becoming easier than ever to play with friends. I remember when Sea of Thieves was welcoming crossplay through all of their servers, and the game's community was popping at that time. I had an amazing time joining up with Xbox players like the good old days and setting sail upon the seven seas for hours. If more and more games continue to take this approach and don't backpedal like Sea of Thieves did, then not only is PC gaming the best it's ever been, but the future for PC gaming is only looking brighter and brighter. I think by now my stance is probably pretty obvious, but just to clarify and wrap everything up, let's go over what it means to have a PC just one more time. When you buy a good PC, you buy a gaming machine that beats out today's top consoles in pretty much every way. You give yourself the ability to game in more than 60 FPS if you buy yourself a nice monitor, which you really don't want to underestimate if you are an FPS player and haven't experienced that. You give yourself a workstation that you can do almost endless things with. You give yourself a platform to hang out and talk with friends. You give yourself an amazing multitasking station. You give yourself your own mini home theater and entertainment system. You give yourself, in my opinion, a lot more than just a computer. So if you've been thinking about getting a PC to play games on, I say do it. I'm Dr. McLovins, and this is my diagnosis on the situation. As for you, I would prescribe probably subscribing to this channel, because it will make you $1 million. I don't know how to do outros, guys. I'm still figuring this part out, but liking this video would be pretty cool, and subscribing would be just as cool, and putting in the comments some words. Okay, bye.